What's going on, hustlers? Back to you guys with another video. I'm just firing them off right now. So as you can tell by the title of today's video, we're gonna be talking about surplus material. I'm gonna explain it to you guys. But before we get into that, I want to say thank you guys so much for all the growth on the channel. However, at the time of this recording, I'm at like 650 subscribers. If you guys get me to 1,000 subscribers, I will go to the warehouse and I will show you how to package something. Get me to 1K, I'll go to the warehouse and package. This is stuff that people pay me a lot of money to teach them. Get me to 1K, I'll do it for free. Because then I can get monetized. And once I can get monetized, obviously I'm not going to be making as much money as I make from my consulting, but I don't really give a shit because I don't be able to start getting paid on YouTube. So I got to pay my bills. I got to put food on the table somehow, some way. So get me to 1K subscribers. Like, comment, and subscribe and share. So surplus material, what does that mean? Well, let's break it down. Surplus, meaning having an abundance of, having more than you need. And just for the record, we're only going to talk about surplus in relation to DLA. I know that the military has all kinds of surplus and there's all different kinds of processes, but surplus for DLA. So as you should already know, because if you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you already know a little bit about DLA and you've at least watched a couple of my videos. DLA doesn't buy based on what they immediately need. They buy based on forecasts. So what they'll need in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 24 months. A lot of times that number that they purchase or that they expect to be using and that they purchase based off of they're pretty in line. But every now and again, there just so happens to be a discrepancy. And DLA purchases more than they actually need. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but DLA is actually a mix of government employees and civilian employees. And DLA is also a business. DLA also has to make payroll. DLA operates like a supply depot, similar to BJ's, Sam's Club, Costco. We stock their shelves. When I say we, I mean us as firms. We stock DLA shelves. And because we stock DLA shelves, whenever you have something that's sitting there that's not getting bought, you're losing money on it and you invoke an opportunity cost because it's sitting there, and DLA also has to make civilian payroll. So to recoup their cost as a supply depot, they will then take that material that they bought too much of and auction it back off to the public. And when I say the public, I mean there's really only about 7 or 8 of these companies that get invited to this auction. And really, when I say the public, I mean those 7 or 8 companies just happen to be civilian companies. But realistically, there should be like some kind of antitrust law or something stopping these companies. I mean, I'm not complaining because I do business with them all the time, so it doesn't got shit to do with me. But I think some of these companies, I mean, these guys they've monopolized the industry. So these 7 to 8 companies, they go to this auction. They get invited and then they go to the auction. So how these auctions work is sometimes you know what you're buying, and then a lot of times you don't know what you're buying. So it's really just like there's this crate and you can't see what's in the crate. And let's just say the bidding starts at $2,000. What's inside the crate could be worth $100,000. I don't know that. You don't know that. The auctioneers don't know that. The bidders don't know that. Or it could be like a bunch of O-rings and washers that are old as shit and past their shelf life and expired, and you're paying $2,000 for something that's literally worth nothing. You don't know. And obviously, people bid on it based on like the size and the weight of the crate and all that good stuff. But pretty much you could be getting something that you're getting for pennies on the dollar that's really worth, maybe, let's say you're spending $20,000 on something that's worth 150 grand. So you pretty much just got that for pennies on the dollar. So these companies go to these auctions, they buy the stuff, then they get it appraised, and then they literally just cross-reference like all the line items in the crate with the NSN, and they determine what the market value is. And oftentimes these guys are getting this stuff for pennies on the dollar. And there's also a couple different other surplus that's out there that has to do with mergers and acquisitions of companies. You've got your Sikorsky helicopters and your Lockheed Martins and your Northrop Grummons and your Raytheons, but that's some deep DLA lore that maybe at a later point in time I'll discuss that. But then these guys get that stuff appraised, and then they go and they list that stuff on the parts marketplaces. So they've spent about $20,000 to get $150,000 worth of stuff. So they're about a 6x their money if they sell it at market value, but they obviously want people to come to them and buy it from them, so they're not going to sell it at 6x their value. They might sell it at, 3x the value, so they're triple their money, right? So then they'll list it on the parts marketplaces for like 60K, right? Let's just keep the numbers easy. They'll list it for 60K. So then some handsome young chap like me will go onto these parts marketplaces, and then we will literally see it and we'll request the pricing and the availability. And then they will send us certain kinds of traceability, if you will. Essentially, you have to learn how to read an entire other language and learn how to interpret government data to be able to understand the value of what you're looking at to sell surplus material. And then they send that to me. And then I do my little market research and I determine, okay, this thing that I'm buying for 60 grand, it's really worth $150,000. I'm going to sell it to DLA for 120 grand. So I'm literally selling DLA stuff back to them at a premium. And I literally am doing 100% margin. I spent 60K. I'm selling it for 120K. Everybody's happy. And then DLA, they don't even care about the fact that, they're rebuying their own stuff. They just care about the fact that they're getting exactly the material that they asked for, and they're getting it for cheaper than the market value if, let's say, a Sikorsky or a Lockheed Martin or a Northrop Grumman or a Boeing or a Raytheon or a Honeywell had to manufacture the stuff. So then I send it back or I bid on it, offer to DLA, and then honestly, you got to fill out like some extra paperwork. Like, I'm definitely dumbing this down and making this sound like I'm romanticizing this, making it sound super nice and quick and easy, but then I bid on it, and then I win it, and then I fill out paperwork, and then I send it to them, and then everybody's happy. And that is surplus material explained for DLA.